Okay, so I did my project on different like bands that came out of LA area, so Los Angeles, California, and I think it's pretty cool because some of the bands that I'm going to be talking about have influenced like music culture. So like different genres of music have been really influenced by these certain bands, and I think that's really cool that a lot of that influence kind of came out of one area. And so yeah, that's my project. So the first band that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be focusing on three bands, and that's Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I actually have the shirt on, and then Nirvana. I don't have a poster or a shirt, so that's the logo. My artistic ability. So yeah, so Green Day, this album released in 1994 is actually like a super big album. It's called Dookie, and it's really cool because this album has actually caused a lot of artists to kind of be inspired and make their own albums. So like different bands like Pearl Jam, like Soundgarden, and even like Sum 41, Blink 182, and My Chemical Romance. Those are just like some popular bands you might have heard of, but a lot of other bands have been influenced by this album, and it kind of changed the way people listen to punk rock as a kind of like a subgenre of rock. It's kind of created that whole new sound, and I think that's really cool when an artist like takes a sound and kind of makes it their own, and then other people are inspired by that. So that was this album, and I think that's kind of cool. The next one I'm going to be talking about is Red Hot Chili Peppers, and this band has actually, it's kind of fluctuated in their genre a lot. So they started out like kind of funk rock, and then they kind of became more alternative as the years went on, because this band's been around for a long time. So obviously it's influenced a lot of different people, and I think it's pretty cool because some of the artists in this band have kind of moved on and created their own band. And so if it wasn't for this band, there would have been a lot of people like Pearl Jam. Like the lead singer of Pearl Jam was talking about how he would have never like made the band if it hadn't been for the Chili Peppers. And that's pretty cool because they've influenced a lot more than just themselves. And I think it's really cool that they've also come out of like that one Los Angeles area, because all of the musicians, or not all of them, but the majority of the people, like the people that started this band, all came out of LA. So Anthony Kiedis, Flea, so they all came out of that one zone, and I thought that was pretty cool. The last band that I'm going to be talking about is Nirvana. So this band, not all of the members came out of LA, but the bassist, named Chris Novostek, I don't know if I got the name right, but that's how it bugs, so I said it like that. Anyway, he actually came out of LA, and so the band wouldn't have been a band if it wasn't for him, or at least it wouldn't have been the same. But this band was super influential. They actually kind of made a genre in itself. So their music, so their album Nevermind, it kind of like sparked up a whole genre because of their different sound, their different vocals and guitar of like hard power chords and just loud. It really sparked up a new genre that's inspired so many people, and so a lot of people have followed in their footsteps of making sounds like that. So like Audio Slave, Soundgarden, different bands like the Smashing Pumpkins, and like even modern people that make music like, well, I know he's dead now, but XXXTentacion, his biggest musical inspiration was Kurt Cobain of Nirvana. And so I think that's kind of cool how people have still been influenced by their music. So it's still being listened to, it's still being remembered even to this day. And that was like 30 years, well, not 30, probably around 20, 25 years ago. And I think that's really cool that they're still making an impact, even though the lead singer's dead and everybody else has kind of moved on, but they're still making an impact. And I got a list of a couple more bands that are pretty famous that have made it out of LA too. So Weezer, you probably have heard of them. They released a lot of good albums, but they were also inspired by Red Hot Chili Peppers and Green Day. Guns N' Roses, they made a lot of music that's cool too. Rage Against the Machine, they kind of came out of Orange County area. That's kind of where, that's literally the time my dad was growing up. So he listened to them, and I think that's cool. It's like he grew up with that era of music. I don't know, I'm kind of jealous. But Maroon 5 also came out of LA area. So even these modern bands that people still listen to now have kind of came out of this scene that was created by people that have been before them. And I think that's really cool because these bands have made an impact that's bigger than themselves. And I think that's what people want to do, is they want to make an impact that's bigger than themselves. And these people, these artists, even though they're not perfect, even though they messed up a lot, they've made an impact, and I think that's really cool. And so, yeah, that's my presentation. I hope you liked it. I don't know. It was really fun to make. So yeah, enjoy.